Well, hey there everyone, subscribers and future subscribers. Hey, yeah, wanted to talk about transport today because most expats living here use a two-wheeler, and there's others that say no, you got to have a car, right? In a car it keeps the rain off, you've got your air conditioner, you've got your loud stereo playing your favorite music, you've got your coffee cup holders. And yeah, sure, there's those benefits, but cars in the Philippines, especially around Dumaguete here, only move at about 30 to 40 kilometers an hour. Be pretty stressful with all the scooters weaving in and out around you, and are notoriously difficult to park. So that's why most expats do what the Filipinos do and grab a two-wheeler. A problem with two-wheelers though is safety. So riding around in the Philippines for the last 1.5 years or so, I have seen crashes quite a few times. I know Filipinos who've died in their scooter crashes. I know expats who have had really bad crashes and broken bones and lost a lot of skin. I know of or have heard of expats recently, and of course in previous years, who have died in bike crashes here, and it really is a serious issue. Western countries, they publish the road toll, they put crashes up on the news, but none of that here. There's just too many to cover, right? I have no idea how many people in the Philippines die every day in two-wheel crashes. It's probably, dozens every day, right? So I haven't had a crash though. Riding around fast on my big bike, no problems whatsoever. I've had a couple of little close calls, but no problems at all. And I'm going to tell you about how I avoid having a crash and how you keep safe riding in the Philippines. But anyway, you might be wondering, what does Adrian know about motorbikes and safety? Well, first of all, I actually learned to ride motorbikes in Indonesia a long time ago. So I've had experience riding a motorbike around places like Jakarta, and then moved to Seoul in South Korea and had my little 125 and really gunned that around the massive city of Seoul through all the traffic as well there. And then I've ridden also in Cambodia and Thailand, Philippines of course, but back in Australia I had 1000cc 4-cylinder, Japanese sport sort of type bike, and 160 horsepower, no ABS. Yeah, in the Northern Territory back before I think 2007 had no speed limits, so I actually rode past a police car at 250 kilometers an hour and just waved. That was so cool. Not breaking the law, right? I did have one accident though. It started raining a bit, so I'm under the bananas now. Yeah, probably, this would have been 2003. Going to work in Canberra, Australia's capital, which of course doesn't have many straight roads. It's all curves and big roundabouts and stuff. So I was on this big Yamaha 4-cylinder bike in the morning traffic at one of these huge roundabouts. There was a car in front of me trying to get in onto the roundabout, as I was, and so it started moving out into the roundabout. Great, so I started accelerating, and I looked to my right. It'd probably been the left in the US or the Philippines, but check for oncoming traffic, in case you're going to crash into anything that's already in the roundabout. But the car in front of me emergency braked for no reason at all, and I looked in front and I thought, oh shit! So I slammed the brakes on hard to avoid, T-boning, crashing into the back of them, you know what I mean, right? And this old bike did not have anti-lock brakes. The road was a bit slippery. The back wheel locked right up and it flipped. So before I knew it, I was moving along the road surface face down with a 1/4 ton bike on my left leg. I stopped sliding along the road when my head hit the gutter. I then proceeded to get up and pick my bike up and try to get it off the road. So what did I learn from that? Well, I mean, ABS is a great thing, but also, you know, so are these. Okay, if I was not wearing a full face helmet, I would not have a nose. I would not have lips. All right, I wouldn't be the handsome guy with my sexy girlfriend here in the Philippines, right? So, you know, the people that wear the noodle bowl helmets, and I know it's kind of de rigueur on Harleys, but if you go face down with one of those helmets, you won't have a nose or lips anymore. It's just tragic, right? You're never going to be good looking ever again. Right? No problem. So my head was not hurt, even though I went headfirst bang into the gutter. I had huge scratches on the visor. My hands weren't hurt. My arms, my chest weren't hurt. My legs weren't hurt because I was wearing full body armor. Except I wasn't wearing my armored boots. I was just wearing regular shoes. And as a result, I was on crutches for 2 weeks. Yeah. So I didn't get very injured considering the whole, you know, what it was like, that accident. So anyway, I've learned my lesson, right? Wear your armor. Invest in some good armor. I mean, a full-face helmet is for me absolute must. I know here in the Philippines, especially out in the provinces, people don't wear helmets, or they wear a little noodle bowl helmet and don't even do up the strap. So when they fall off their scooter, the helmet's going to fall off their head, or they ride along holding their helmet in their hand instead of wearing it on their head. And like, why? If your head hits that concrete road, yeah, that's how people die. So if you get some armor and wear it, it'll save your life, it'll save your skin, save your white nose, or whatever, all right, whatever your assets are. So the armor saves your skin, saves your life, right? Saves your looks. However, it's hot here in the Philippines. I mean, not so bad today, but most of the time, wearing full armor is it's going to be pretty uncomfortable, especially if you're stuck in a traffic jam for a long time. Yeah. So personally, I do a compromise. If I'm just taking the scooter down to the local shops, I don't wear armor. I mean, always wear a full face helmet, okay, but it's like, well, I'm not going fast. I'm going on places where I already know the road intimately. The risk is low, don't have far to fall. Just the helmet, I should be fine, because the risks that I'm taking is fairly low. I mean, you've got to keep the tires and the brakes and everything working well on your scooter to make that sort of compromise, I think. Yeah. But on the big bike, different story. So remember, I'm still talking about armor at the moment, not about collision avoidance, right? Because it's kind of likely you are going to have a bit of a crash or a big crash sooner or later. That's why armor is important, because it what makes the difference between a crash and 2 months in the hospital and a huge bill versus a crash and ow. All right, pick the bike up and see if you can keep going. All right, an amazing difference. So let's see. Okay, when I'm going on the big bike to a different city, like a long distance ride, like for example, when I did 9 days riding around Mindanao, I wear the full armor. Okay, because it's going to be roads you don't know about. It's going to be long distance and, you know, fatiguing kind of riding where you're slightly more likely to make mistakes, and you're going to be going at higher speeds. So the armor is really important. I mean, you don't want to come off your bike at a high speed, right? Right, okay. So start with boots, right? That was my lesson. My ankle was injured because I wasn't wearing safety boots. So long distance rides, I tend to wear like full-on hard waterproof leather armored bike boots like these ones, okay? Yeah, they're waterproof as long as the water's not coming through the top. Around town though, actually I've got these boots. They're like thick leather, high top sneakers with, like, you know, special padding for gear shifting and stuff. So they kind of look like sneakers though, which is better for other situations, but they're still good protection. What else? Yeah, gloves, very important part of the armor set, okay? Because I've seen people who've come off the Harley or come off a scooter, they're not wearing gloves, and oh, their fingers, they're like hands, like they've just, you don't want to see that. And you don't want to have that on yourself. Imagine how much that'd hurt. And it's very simple to have a pair of armored gloves. These are a little bit ventilated as well. They've got some holes in them, so it doesn't get too hot. They're not waterproof though. But anyway, at least my fingers won't be mangled if I come off my bike, right? I mean, these are a great way because you can just put them in your top box, or on, if you've got a scooter or something, just put them under the seat. It's really easy to carry these around and use them. What else? Armored, padded jacket. Yeah, really important. I mean, like I said before, I was sliding along the road face down with a 1/4-ton motorbike on me, and my chest, arms, shoulders, nothing was hurt. It was fantastic because I had one of these on. All right. Got this one in Australia. It's a relatively cheap model. It's got padded armor for the back, the shoulders, the elbows. It's made from ballistic nylon, like the World War II flak jackets, and it's a mesh, like you can kind of see through it a little bit anyway, and the air comes through it. So yeah, in the hot sun, stuck in traffic, no, it's not good. But if you're cruising along at a reasonable speed, the air comes through it and cools you down, and it's pretty cool to wear. Tamara's actually got a better one of these than I do, and it's disguised. It looks like a denim jacket, so she looks hot in it. Yeah. Right. Last but not least, these are inside out, so you can see the Aramid, which is like an improved version of Kevlar, located on the butt and in the knees and along the sides of the leg, where you're likely to be the impact points if you're sliding along the road. Yeah, these will keep your skin on. Pretty cool. Again, a little bit warmer than regular jeans though. So that's what I use for long distance high speed rides. Now, what about going to visit a friend, going down to the beach on the big bike, right? So again, I'm going a bit slower. I'm going on roads that I know well and have done many times before. You know, I won't be doing high speed stuff, just you know, motoring a little bit around the city, overtaking most things, but still no real high speed stuff, because you know the cars only go 40 kilometers an hour. So my compromise for that is gloves and boots with the full face helmet. So I don't get too hot while I'm waiting at the traffic intersections and so forth, but my feet, ankles, and hands and head are protected in case I come off. Yeah. So that's it about armor. Depending on what you ride and how you ride, I would suggest or recommend getting some. I mean, at the very least, a proper helmet that's going to protect your nose as well as the back of your head and everywhere else. But getting some decent footwear and decent gloves, because, you know, these are real useful. Okay, so next I'll talk about avoiding a crash in the first place, now that we know how to protect ourselves in case of one. All right, stay tuned. So when it comes to having a motorcycle crash in the Philippines, one of the first steps you can take to avoid it is here, okay? Good tires, good brakes. Yeah, I know. Oh, she's a bit dirty at the moment. Never mind. Rainy season issue. So, tires. Yeah, these need replacing soon, okay? The tread's a bit shallow, getting a bit worn off in the center. So in the next month or two, I'm getting new tires. Brakes. See? Twin rotors on the front wheel. Awesome. ABS. Oh yeah, this thing's got amazing stopping power. Hi, I'm Adrian. What's your name?
Hi, so I'm Sasmi.
Sasmi?
Sasmi.
Cool, yeah. And just checking out your scooter safety. Yeah, let's see. Check the tires first.
Yeah, ask me any question.
Oh, those are tires are in good condition. Yeah, I want to check the back.
Yeah. My back is tubeless tires.
Ah, that's in great condition, that tire. Yeah. And you've got a helmet on. Not a full face helmet, but you've done up.
Not a full face helmet because I'm just traveling near.
Okay,
Yeah.
but you did the strap up, like a chin strap. That's really good.
Because if you will not wear it like this, it will fall.
Exactly.
Hit the incoming vehicle at the back.
Yeah, or if
which is very dangerous.
if you fall off your bike, your helmet will fall off your head. Yeah.
Which is very important.
Very. And you're wearing shoes. Yeah.
Of course.
To protect your feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and long pants. Yep. No, well done.
Else? But no gloves.
Yeah, no gloves.
I'm just near, but the important thing is wearing the shoes and the helmet.
Exactly. Yeah, and having good tires.
Yeah,
so.
and your license.
Oh yeah. So well done. You're doing well.
Yeah. Also, I have side mirror.
Yeah, good side mirrors. Very important. Yep.
They're the original. I did not change it.
Yeah.
Some people change their into smaller ones, but
I know.
the original.
Yeah. When those small mirrors, you can only see your own shoulders.
Yeah. It's very important to keep the original one.
All right.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
No problem.
And keep riding safe. So if you're thinking about buying a big bike or a scooter, think about the brakes, all right? A lot of the scooters have got pretty crummy brakes. No ABS, but there are models on the market that do have ABS and reasonable brakes, okay? I've seen a Kimco scooter at Goodmoto North Road before, the Kimco dealer, where I also got the Kawasaki, and that had twin brake rotors on the front wheel, which is unusual for a scooter, but something to look for. If that had ABS as well, wow, it'd be equivalent to this, like it'd be a really safe scooter. So, oh, here we go. Yep. No helmets on, of course. Yeah. Let's say you've got a bike, you just bought it, secondhand on you, doesn't matter, scooter, big bike, whatever. And it's got powerful brakes, it's got ABS, and you've got tires in good condition. All right. Now, it's an unfortunate thing, but it's also true that makes you already better at avoiding hazards than most people in the Philippines. Whether they're expats or Filipino, it doesn't matter. You're ahead of the pack already. What are these hazards? Well, there's heaps of them, so I'll get started. Water on the road, that's a hazard. Loose rocks and gravel on the road, that's a hazard. Dogs on the road, that's one hell of a hazard. Usually worse at night time when they sleep out on the road, and of course they don't have tail lights. Another issue with stray dogs in the Philippines is that they will often walk out onto the road in front of you without looking, because they just assume that everyone's going to dodge them. Maybe they're not naturally selected for intelligence, hey? Yeah. So some things you can do about reducing the risk with dogs is get extra lights, so that when they see those extra lights at night time, they think it's a car or a truck, and they're more likely to get out of your way. And what I did as well is I replaced the little beep beep horn on my motorbike for a proper car horn. So if they look like they're going to come out on the road in front of you when you're going at speed down the highway, you can actually go beep 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 beep, beep, and they listen and look and get out of your way. So yeah, it's unfortunate there are so many hazards here. Most of them you have very little control over. But one of the hazards you do have some control over, what is it? Let me think. Sweet brown liquor eases the pain. Oh, yeah, alcohol, right? You can't control how much other people drink before they get on the road, but you can for yourself. So if you're riding off to a party or some social gathering where you'll be drinking alcohol, oh, well, if you're a teetotaler, just ignore this. What can you do? Well, probably the safest option is to stay the night. Go back tomorrow. I'd say the second safest option is to have a designated driver. So sometimes Tamara has taken me to the party on the little scooter which she can ride, and she'll stay sober and take me home. Bless her. I say that's slightly less safe because it still involves riding late at night with all the extra hazards. And the least safest option, I suppose, is to just try to limit your alcohol, keep pacing yourself with the drinks and then ride home. But if you are going to do that, for goodness sake, keep your wits about you and go slow. So yeah, road hazards. I've already mentioned the loose sand and rocks and stuff, but particularly on the corners, you find that a fair bit here, extra dangerous. I nearly dropped that once with Tamara on the back because there was some loose powdered dry concrete on a corner on a concrete road, which you couldn't see, and the bike's slipping out from under me around the corner. Great, but lucky I'm wearing my big motorbike boots, and I could just kick the ground as hard as I could and get the bike back upright again. Now, so what's another problem? People riding around without lights on. You don't really see that in the cities, but the more provincial areas like outside Dumaguete, then that's another real thing. I mean, it's suicide. Why do people ride around at night time without lights on their bikes? Ugh. Just another reason you've got to slow down and keep your wits about you. But the other road users are a major hazard sometimes. People that are riding drunk, people that are using their phones while they're riding, people who just come out onto the road without looking, or do U-turns without looking. It's a major issue here. So you've really got to be very defensive, right? Because the tricycle or someone else will just take up the entire 4 lanes of a road if they can to do a U-turn. And do they check to see if they're gonna, if oncoming traffic's gonna, or the traffic behind them is gonna hit them? No, not necessarily, all right? People, usually this is more of a provincial thing than an in Dumaguete thing, but people, usually young men, will come out onto the road without looking for oncoming traffic, why, right? Isn't it common sense to self-preservation? If a big truck's coming that's going to hit you, wouldn't you like to see that first and avoid it? I don't get it. Yeah. So with all of those problems, and I haven't even mentioned potholes, but hey, they're in every country just about. What can you do, what should you do in the Philippines to ride safely and avoid those crashes? So babe, please, can you tell us about your scooter crashes?
My scooter crashes was way back, that was 2016, when I'm a teenager. I've passed my friend, and then they caught my attention, and then I crash.
Well, why does they're catching your attention make you crash?
It's because they screaming like Tamara, Tamara, like something like that.
But people yelling at you doesn't make you crash.
No, it's not. But my attention is like on them, not while driving.
So you stopped looking at the road.
Yeah. So I got that injured in my knee. Scars here. As you can see, I have a scars here.
Yeah.
Here.
Like most Filipino girls, you've got your scooter scars.
Yeah. So I've learned from that is like you need to wear gear, like safety gear. And
pay attention.
Yeah, and pay attention. And then the recently is just like it's a slippery road. Just like drop my scooter. And that's it.
So I mean, why did you drop it? How?
The road is slippery.
Why was it slippery?
It's because it's raining.
Was there any loose sand or something on the corner?
Just a little bit of sand. That's why it's slippery, and and it's wet. That's why it's dang. Like,
yeah. So what injuries did you get from that?
Injury is this one. Just here.
Yeah, you had some road rash on your knee.
Yep. And that's it.
Okay. What did you learn from that?
I learned from that is just be safe if the road is slippery, And if you have the time, if you're not in a hurry, if you see sand on the road, just wipe it so that no one will crash it.
Well, that'll keep you pretty busy, especially in the wet season. Well, the trick is total concentration. If for any reason you're not able to give your total concentration to the road and your riding conditions and the other road users, pull over or pull right to the very edge of the road and go very slowly until you've got that concentration again, okay? So look, it's a very complicated game and you don't get to save and reload. You don't get 3 lives. You should keep track of the relative location and velocity of all other road users all the time. Yeah, it's a bit tricky. You can sort of get used to it, practice that, but you know, the people beside you, around you, behind you, in front of you, potential threats down the track, immediate threats just in your peripheral vision, okay? Where is everybody? How close are they? What direction are they moving? What speed are they moving? You know, that's what's required, basically, to ride safe and avoid hitting other people and avoid, you know, coming off your bike because you hit something else, or, you know, a loose patch of sand or something. Yeah, well, easier said than done. Righto, look, to sum up, here's my tips on riding safely, maximizing your safety while riding in the Philippines. So first thing, just suck it up and wear a full face helmet, okay? Seriously, that's the thing that will save your life, save your face, whichever is more important for you. And look, think about some extra armor as well, particularly if you're going long distances, you're going faster, but some decent boots, like leather high-top boots that will protect your feet and ankles, and some gloves to protect your hands, sort of a minimum, I'd reckon. So another thing to do, of course, is avoid riding drunk. Do everything you can to avoid that massive risk, because, you know, I've got friends and know people that keep riding drunk and keep crashing. You know, I think there's a strong connection there. Another important thing is to moderate your speed. So slow down a lot when it's raining, when we've got a wet road. Slow down a lot at night because the hazards are so much greater. Do not use your phone while riding. And look, when it comes to buying a bike, get one with good brakes, get one with ABS, you know, if you can, do it. It's like saved me a couple of times here already, just that amazing ability to stop so much quicker without sliding around and losing traction. And last but not least, play the game. Keep total concentration on all other road users and road hazards all the time. That's what you do to avoid the problems of those hazards and other road users. You can't rely on other people not to crash into you. You can only rely on your ability to see those, slow down, avoid, you know, do what you can. So you've got to be aware, you've got to be the one in control. That's how you ride safely in the Philippines. Yeah. So look, you've got any questions, comments? Happy to hear from them, all right? If you've seen any of my riding videos, you'll probably notice the style of how I go pretty fast sometimes and overtake everything, but I also slow down all the time. That's why riding here is different to riding in a Western country. Like, you know, the main highways in between cities in Australia, you're just sitting on the speed limit 110 and there's no reason to slow down. It's boring as anything. Whereas here, speeding up, slowing down all the time. Because just when I've overtaken something and I'm up to my happy cruising speed, okay, and I'm, you know, the air's coming through my ventilated jacket and I'm happy, there'll be something up ahead, a risk. There'll be a dog on the side of the road that's not looking at me, but looking out onto the road, thinking about it, right? There'll be someone who looks like they might be doing a U-turn soon. There'll be a village up ahead with some kids on the side of the road. All these other reasons. You've got to slow down so that you're prepared to do emergency braking or swerving safely if you need to, right? Don't be a hazard to other people. Stay safe, enjoy the ride.